Okay.
Remember that this all started because
All right, we're going live, ladies and gentlemen. We're coming in hot, just like Hollywood Undead. Yeah, guys. So welcome to the Basic Nerd Experience. I'm your host with the most that looks like a ghost, Elliot here.
this all started because
Wait, sorry. You were froze for a second, Andres.
I'm back.
Okay. You okay?
I'm good. Let's do a podcast.
All right. Sorry about that, folks. So, let's get back to the basics. I just want to say thank you everyone here for joining us today, and I want to thank our guest as always. Shut up, let's talk. Host Alazar.
How's it going tonight, folks? Thank you everybody for having me on again, and pleasure to be on as always.
Yeah, my man. Welcome.
What up?
Well, I figured I kind of want to do like a funny episode. It's been funny, but I feel like I don't know. I'm not feeling a serious podcast today. I want to do something funny and something. Sorry, I heard something in the background.
Bet it out, Denin. I always say. Did someone burp?
Yes.
Bet it out, Denin. I always say.
Thanks, Han.
Austin Powers goodness right there.
Oh
That's
yeah,
right.
that's sweet Mike Myers energy, my man. That's what it is.
Nice.
I figure we talk about something that is fun to watch, really stupid at the end of the day. And
Sounds good to me.
And I think I know the best way to start this off. We kind of talked about this a couple episodes ago, or last episode, I forgot. And that deals with Banana Slammer,
Oh
Donkey
my
Kong.
God, the Donkey Kong like 90s 2000s thing, the
Yeah.
Banana Slammer. Yeah, that thing.
That show is so ridiculous, so haunting. That show.
It's just so like I actually started liking Donkey Kong more because of that show.
Oh, if that's a leeway for you to get into Donkey Kong Returns, my man, go for it.
Yeah, it's so like it's like very cliche, not cliche. It's very what's the word? Cheesy. It's very very cheesy, fun and stupid. But like I said, like when we during quarantine, like you know when you have a lot of free time and life gets you down in the dumps, you watch stuff that is weird and then they make you laugh.
Yeah,
Right.
That was one of it, and it was a lot of it's you know it's very weird, and it's like the animation is very eerie, and there's always like this like there's different like characters like my first exposure when I was a wee lad. I was we had this is a fun little story. So back in third grade, I had this really cool teacher. Her name was Mrs. Alaskowitz, and we had this she did this fun thing in class where we had like this you would have to earn like in order to do good things or do good deeds in class. She gave us like
good noodle stars.
or whoa, I gotta be like Patrick, like sorry.
That's awesome.
I didn't know my Patrick Star impression, but continuing, we had something like that. We had this thing called O-Bucks, which is a form of currency she used to give everyone. So like if like, hey, whoever got an A would get $5, stuff like that. So at the end of every quarter, every like academic quarter, there's 4 quarters, and we would have an auction. So everyone would donate like a potluck, like whatever something that they don't want, like that's just kind of laying in their house, someone would bring it in or something valuable, you know. So we would auction it off, and one of them was the Legend of the Crystal Coconut VHS tape.
The Legend of what? Sorry again? Say it again.
It was the Legend of the Crystal Coconut VHS tape.
Oh.
And it was yellow. And I'm like, this is a yellow VHS tape. Like, when do you see that?
Wow.
Yeah.
Unless it's covered in piss. But continuing on that, could continue.
Or SpongeBob. But
or SpongeBob, yeah, that would be a more appropriate compliment.
But so like, I got home that day, and my mom, I was started watching it, and my mom is like, "This is." My mom and I started watching. Do you guys remember like HR Puff and stuff, like Sid and Marty Croft?
HR Puff and stuff. Yeah, I do vaguely remember a show called HR Puff and stuff.
this was like back in the 60s, and like around this time, my mom and I would watch those kind of shows, and that's also something that comes and goes in this category. Like my mom and I would kind of watch both shows, and one was from the 60s and everyone was doing LSD and that NASA and that kind of stuff. And these guys with Donkey Kong, they were just in the 90s and had a budget. That was the only thing that was limited to their imagination. But yeah, so and my mom and I would watch these shows and back to back, and we're like, my mom's like, what the hell are we watching? What has come to your generation? And we watch HR Papa stuff, and I'm like, what has come to your generation? What the hell were you watching when you were a kid?
I love how the generations have shit on each other to call each other out on it. Like unity through shit talking. That's what I love.
It's a generational harmony. Like we find a way to make fun of each other. Like,
history.
Boomers versus Zoomers, like
that's right. And millennials are there to keep track of it, keep points, like, oh yeah. No, that's a bad call. Bad faith.
That's right. You get five $5 out.
Exactly.
But we watched the show, and that's my first exposure. And yeah, like Andres made a good point. Why was there 2 songs randomly in each episode? It was like a Broadway, like it was just like this weird thing. Like I remember the first step, like like for some reason when I was a kid, I thought it was a movie, like The Legend of the Crystal Coconut. So basically the whole point of it was like Donkey Kong was trying to be like the king of the jungle, and there's the beginning scene where it's like him and his little brother Diddy Kong that was always kind of annoying. It's like, well, come on, Donkey, like you'd always talk like that, and so Donkey would be like, all right, I'm the future ruler of I forget what the Banana Island, I don't know, whatever they lived in. But then basically they were just talking, and they go to like this Temple of Doom looking man, and then he was kind of like, this blocks were like, to know everything you must give up everything, and then it's like, and they're talking, and that's when the coconut is like this artifact that like brings knowledge, and I don't know, it's just like it's just this item of that brings peace or whatever that they were doing. I don't know what the hell they were thinking of. I think at the last minute they had no idea what the hell they're doing. They were just trying to make deadlines so that they get paid for the end of the week.
Dude, everybody was on Dip and Crocodile making that show, man. It was great.
It was fun, yeah. But then for some reason he just started singing. Donkey Kong just started singing about like himself and life, and I'm like, that's kind of good. It kind of sounds good, but there
were some songs that banged, man. Yeah, they were.
I know, like the one where they're trying to get the like gotta get it back, take it back, like when they're trying to swing back and forth, like it was good, and it was just funny. Like the crocodiles are always fun. Was it the crocodile? Yeah, crocodiles. Yeah, the King K. Rool was always good. I don't know why for some reason he had a short ass cape. Like it only went up to like here. It could go all the way down to his feet.
Yeah, this doesn't fall in line with my.
It's probably an innuendo for something.
Overcompensating much? Yeah.
Or undercompensating.
Or maybe. I'm not sure. Like who's to say? Maybe
because there's always a psychological theory behind ties when people wear ties, and about how that's like an innuendo for something.
Exactly.
So it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
I never knew that. You learn something new every day.
Dude, Donkey Kong has a tie. It's called DK right across his big fat chest, man.
There you go. He does have a tie. That's so true. Yeah. So that's completely right. So that show, and as far as the musical portions of that show goes, I'm sure that was just like pressure from the network executives. Like, listen, we need children to have their eyes glued to this. There better be songs. There better be dancing. There better be rapping.
Rapping. I brought my banana.
Yeah, and then they did all that. They had these corny ass reps. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Bro, my favorite is when like they were trying to get like Donkey Kong had amnesia for no reason, and they're trying to like convince they're trying to like change his identity, and one of them was like this pirate captain is a crocodile. He's like, don't you see you're a crocodile? Meanwhile, he's like this big walking ape, like walking around like.
Yeah, who are you to talk, you steroid looking ass Hulk Hogan bitch?
I know you. Bro, it was so weird, but I liked it. This is weird charm to it.
Yeah,
Yes,
Yeah.
no, it was definitely charming, and people still remember it fondly. And I'm sure the YouTube searches are just
They're
nuts.
prime. They are prime.
Oh, but you can watch all the episodes for free. It's funny, and it's. I always watched it like just that movie, but in reality, it was just a collection of episodes that they made into a movie.
Oh,
4 or 5, and I mean, it was like because when you think about it, if it's like 4 or 5 episodes of like 22-minute episodes, it's a good like hour and a half, 2 hours. I was like, oh, really? So yeah, and they only like made like 2 seasons. It was like the late '90s, and I'm like, man, but no, and then like no, and after we watched it, my mom was like,
I remember that show. I mean, that show used to be on in the morning with S Club 7. Does anybody remember S Club 7?
It's vaguely familiar. Is that from 2001?
Pretty close. Yeah, probably was. That sounds about right. And it was a pop group from London, I believe, the UK. Let's say that. And they had a show called S Club 7 in Miami. And the concept of the show was that they came from the UK to Miami, and then they thought that their manager or whatever told them, you guys are going to go to Miami. It's going to be beaches. It's going to be people. It's going to be crazy. And then they went there, and it was just like they're going to play at a motel, like at like a terrible motel, and they got lied to. And it's about them being in this like motel and trying to like make their way up and get famous. Cool concept. Yeah.
it sounds like Big Time Rush.
Well, maybe that was a recycled idea there, maybe.
Yeah.
Except would have classic songs like
but bro, okay, don't hate on my boys Big Time Rush, man. They got some banger ass.
Oh no, they do. It's just funny how it sounds kind of, it's not the same, but it's just kind of.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard any Big Time Rush. Who's Big Time Rush again? I'm trying to think.
Alazar, I'm gonna introduce you to a little friend I call Spotify. I'm gonna send you some playlists.
Sounds good. So this is good stuff.
This is good stuff, man.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was definitely when Nickelodeon started getting into more of the live action, like after Drake and Josh.
Mm-hmm. Like Drake and Josh was a good time. We talked about that before, but yeah, that's a great time.
There's just so many classics. Like I can go on about Drake and Josh, but that is not the topic of today's episode. But I just said my
piece
answer. Excuse me, sorry. But I always say I beat you, Andres. But
bitch.
But that's my response. So does anybody else have any answers?
I do.
Go for it.
I do, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. Well, it's a pretty recent show, and I do like the show a lot, but like I'm gonna admit it is kind of wacky and it is pretty dumb in places.
American Idol. No,
yeah, that's oh, Paula Abdul, take me away. But no, aside from that,
I have a crush on Abdul. She's pretty hot.
Oh yeah, she even in her 50s, she looks amazing, man. Yeah, like Dolly, like
same.
Yeah, exactly. She's looking fine. She kept killing it. Exactly. She ages like fine wine, you know.
Oh yeah.
How did you meet Paula Abdul?
I met Paula Abdul at the High School Musical 3 world premiere.
Yeah, alongside Selena Gomez. Yeah.
That's what's up.
No one's from the Monkees.
That's right. That's Davy Jones.
I met him too, but twice at separate events.
Gotcha.
Monkeys. Okay, so then, Andres, you were saying, sorry.
Oh yeah, this I like this show. I really do. It's from Disney XD. It's called Star versus the Forces of Evil.
Oh, that's not a dumb show.
I like that. Thank you, Danielle.
You're not a guest of this episode.
Jesus.
But why you're not here?
Oh, because I'm doing homework.
Oh, okay.
You're eliminating my leg of support, Elliot. God damn it.
I am supporting guest character, voice actor.
Okay, well, I support the guests who do their homework.
Yeah. You got a 2 out of 10.
You got a 2 out of 10, you hypocrite. On the dance appreciation.
All right, let's go back to Star versus the Capcom, or not Capcom.
Star versus
Star
Capcom
versus-
3, yeah. Star versus the forces of evil. Like it's a really simple show. It really is, but like the characters are really fun. It's all about this princess from another dimension. Her name is Star Butterfly, and like for her 14th birthday, she got a wand of magic capabilities from her rich daddy privileged parents, queen and king of a land called Muni. And they entrust her for like 2 minutes with this magic wand. She burns down the whole thing. So they send her to Earth so she can learn how to train and become a normal princess under normal conditions, which is fair. Okay, that's good. And then she meets our everyman. His name is Marco Diaz, and he knows karate.
Is that how he says his name? Marco Diaz.
That's how his sensei calls it. He calls his name. It's funny. It has emphasis to it. It makes you remember it more.
Okay.
And and Marco is known as the good boy. Always following the rules, always making sure everybody's okay. Even though he claims to be like one of the tortured teens, bad boy. No, he's not. He's a good boy. So Star goes to the same school as he does, as Marco. And so not only that, but Star just so happens to move in with him, with his parents, his Mexican parents, in a very big house, which is really cool. Even though the premise of it is a little bit ridiculous, because it's just some stranger princess from another dimension who is extremely volatile, like she can change emotions like this, But okay, fine.
Sounds like a regular princess.
It's a regular princess, yeah, Pamela. But anyway, what we're given is a premise where you have this out of nowhere princess from another dimension kicking ass of monsters with her little sidekick who knows karate. He can kick some ass. He really can. And
Bukowski?
Kick Bukowski, yeah, same Disney XD. But in the first episode, it's established that she has some enemies. One of these enemies is called Ludo. Ludo and his henchmen. Like he's a silly little owl villain, but like he's funny. So the first time they kick ass, it's all good, it's all well and good. And then Star and Marco, they're just like, all right. Turns out that Marco says, okay, I need a little bit of excitement in my life, and you need somewhere to stay. Let's do it. Let's become some friends. And it's a sweet show, Throughout the series, you get to build on their friendship, how they kick asses of monsters, how they fight the forces of evil sometimes, It's a really awesome show, It really is. It's creative, it's bombastic, except for season 4, but we're not talking about that. I'm hyping up that show. It's good. It gets a good 7 out of 10 for me. I recommend you check it out. It's really cool. It's very entertaining. It's very bombastic. And there's a horse-looking ass character who always talks like this all the time. How you doing? And I'm just like, oh my god, I've met sassy girls like that. But it's not that I have a problem with sassy women. Sassy women are all good in my book. A-okay. It's just that she's just obnoxious, like
But sassy horses, though.
What up?
But sassy horses, though.
Sassy horses, discrimination. I'm just kidding. But the problem I have is that she's obnoxious. She's easily jealous. This is Star's best friend. Her name is literally Ponyhead. I'm just like, you literally couldn't come up with anything more creative. Like,
I am Ponyhead. Like, come on. Even BoJack Horseman is a better name.
BoJack Horseman. That's a name for a horse, not Ponyhead. Try Horse Teeth or Long Face McChillyjuggy or something like that. I don't know. Just McChuggets. Yeah. But yeah, aside from that, there's a whole cast of colorful characters like Star's ex, Tom. He's a literal demon who has anger issues, which is hilarious because he's a demon, And you get to feel a bromance between Marco and Tom. You're just like, oh man, these guys are cute together, man. That's some bromance shit, like not in the gay way. Not that there's anything wrong with being gay, but that's good.
Would they be homosexuals?
Homosexual all the way, man. Shout out to my boy Johnny Boy for coining the term, of course. You pulled me out of some really really big moments, my man. Yeah. But yeah, that's
Wait, how did you start watching the show?
let's see. I was stuck in quarantine. I had COVID a couple of weeks ago, and I just I mean,
No,
uh,
that's all.
aka the cough cough, my man.
Yeah. So you had COVID.
I had COVID. Well, I was stuck at home, bored, and I was just like, man, like this is boring. You know, I'm alone. Like, damn it, I can't get close to anybody. So what do? Start looking at some shows, and I come across Disney X. I was about to watch Spider-Man the animated series, which is now on Disney XD, Disney Plus. You know, one of my favorite series. But I came across a series of shows that my friend Esteban, shout out to my boy Esteban Asensio for recommending me some shows, you know, and the first one I noticed was Star versus the Forces of Evil. Like I said, okay, this looks like a cute show. Let's check it out. I finished it, and yeah, it's a really cute show. Really cool. So I recommend it.
Cuteness
Check it out.
confirmed.
The what?
I was saying cuteness confirmed.
Cuteness, super kawaii. I'm too old to say that shit, but if Gwen Stefani can say it, so can I. Damn it.
No
Yeah.
doubt.
No doubt. don't,
Nice.
don't speak. Don't speak.
Oh, wow.
Wait, what'd you say?
Don't speak.
Well,
I can't think of other. Damn it, you got me.
I'm feeling hella good. Anyway, Star versus the Forces of Evil.
oh,
Watch it. Watch that shit.
cool, man.
Alazar?
Okay. My show, it's more of a channel, really. It's the entire channel because the entire channel is basically one big show.
Basically.
And I will say that it is QVC and Home Shopping Network.
Oh, that's a good one.
I've heard of that one, man. That's a good channel right there.
My mother watches that.
That is some of my favorite awful TV ever. My favorite thing about is they can vamp on for about a topic for so long. And it's pretty amazing because they'll just talk about the worst clothing and make it sound like it looks amazing. Like they make it look like these are the hottest fashions, and it'll look like something you'll see librarians wearing. It's just amazing. You know, it's just like one of my favorite things about it, the models. You know, the models that'll be on there.
Yeah.
They do the same. It's like looking at a GIF or like a GIF. Like it's like the same movement. Like they'll flick their wrist around and then they'll do this little movement and then they'll just keep doing the same little movement. They'll just like
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And it's hysterical. And the amount that they can talk about these products. Another one of my favorite things is when they have technology on there. And it's just really like some of it'll be like outdated computer stuff. And they'll just make it sound. And then my favorite is when people call in. Because yeah, of course they take calls. And first of all, really quick, a little thumbtack on that. Excuse me. A lot of people think the calls are fake, right?
Well, yeah, when like they get the customers, will talk about the product. Like, oh my god, I just enjoyed this bagel maker. Yeah, like
that. And then a lot of people also think like when they say like, oh, we're almost sold out. They're like, oh, they're just saying that so you can buy it. One of my coworkers, she's an older Italian lady. And she actually called in and she really wanted something. And her husband was like, no, you know, they're not going to be sold out. He eventually ended up calling and they were sold out. So, you know, they're not kidding around.
no, they're not.
People are buying. And it was just hilarious, man. So I really love that kind of stuff. When they talk about technology, it's fantastic. Like I was saying, when people call in, that's my favorite. Especially for the technology ones, because it's always these old people that'll call in and be like, oh, I don't know how to use my computer, but I like my computer's so slow. I hate calling my grandparents, my grandkids.
I need a cold cut combo.
Oh, there it is. Fantastic.
Combo.
Your mama needs you right now, buddy.
Your mama needs you right now, buddy.
Fantastic. And yeah, it just QVC, man. Home Shopping Network. And you know, I remember when I know you guys are Star Wars fans. I remember when Star Wars Episode 1 was coming out, and it was QVC could not stop, doing Star Wars related things. So many dancing Jar Jar figures and piggy banks and just things where you press the button and Jar Jar's dancing, and other ones where it's Darth Maul just swinging his double-sided
lightsaber. Yeah.
Lightsaber.
Right.
I forgot we're on a clean show, so I wasn't gonna call it what I was gonna call it.
I don't.
Double-sided saber, we'll call it that. I'm just kidding. But yes. Great.
I have many questions I want to ask, but I'm worried on what kind of answer I'm going to get. So I'm going to continue this. Yeah. So,
but this is QVC and Home Shopping Network. That's my choice.
Dude, I used to grow up, not grew up watching it, but whenever it was, I come home from school, I always kind of see that on that or Beverly Hills 90210.
Oh my! What were you doing watching that show back in the day?
I came home from school, and after that, like sometimes if my dad came home and dropped me off from school, and I would see my mom like watching those shows, and that was just her daytime TV and her novellas, And
Telenovelas, yeah. Shout out to Brandon for being one of the stars of a show of mine that I love.
Stay thirsty, my friends.
Stay thirsty, my friend. Thank you, Brandon.
But no, HSN and QVC was one of those things, and so yes.
I love it. So entertaining.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm gonna watch some of that tonight.
There's someone who's staring at me who's being very. Do you need something? Okay, thank you.
I need some of that Five Guys you've had.
No, I know.
Yeah.
You want some?
Thank you.
Let me get some. Let me get some of those Cajun fries.
Give me some of that overstuffed bagging fries, man. Seriously, that's what I love about Five Guys, man.
These are quick break before we go to the next round. Man, those are hot. Those Five Guys, like man, I know we might talk back into food discussion because we always do that at the end of every episode. Like, but we can talk more about like Ken giving us the hookups, the Trumpy Chop and
Trumpy Chops for life, man.
Yeah. I need some of that. Did you know you can buy the steaks from Pollo Tropical like uncooked and like just marinated and make them yourself?
Really?
Yeah.
Where?
We were having a barbecue at a friend's house, and one of our friends brought 3 of those. And they were $18 for 3, and the big churrasco skirt steaks. They were awesome. And we just had to we just put them on the grill, and they were good to go. We made tacos. It was awesome.
Ooh.
Dude, like Pollo Tropical, like I gotta say, like Ken made me like Pollo Tropical. Like I had never thought about going to Pollo Tropical until like this man says, "Hey man, you gotta come to the place. I'll give you the hookup, bro." And
come to the place.
like when he said like that, like all right, I gotta check this place out, and
that's such a good place to have a hookup, dude. That's like the best. You could like meal prep. Having a hookup there,
dude. I'm not kidding. One time he got me a half a chicken with rice and beans for free.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. That's so epic. Especially when you're like when you're like young and broke, which it's not like I mean I'm still old and broke. No, I'm kidding. But oh, half kidding. And then but especially when you're young and broke, man, and then you get like people give you food and people hook you up with those kind of things. Like those type of things go such a long way, man. That's awesome.
I know. No, it's true.
Gotta give it up to
when you have someone when you're older, maybe some insurance would go a long way. But I guess only food only works for a kid. Like
I gotta give it up to buddy boy Ken right over there. I love that moment where I remember he was working the drive-through because the machine was not working, and he had to go back and forth between us, his friends, and business.
Last time.
Yeah, exactly. But like I remember there was one point where he was just going back and forth saying, "What's up, bro? What's up, bro? How you doing? Oh, excuse me. Yes, how can I help you? Hold up, bro. Hey, bro, how's it going, bro? Oh, excuse me. Hold up, bro. Hey, bro. I mean, welcome to Pollo Tropical. How may I help you, bro? I mean, yes." I remember he screwed up. He screwed it up at least twice. I remember it was the funniest thing to watch.
The funny thing is, whenever he runs, he always like cups his hands and goes.
Yeah, he looks like a T-Rex.
Like scooping the air by, as he goes by. That's all. He's like pulling at the air to go forward.
It's like he's swimming. He's like
basketball. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Scoob, like let's bust out of here, you know.
Rex.
Ruby Rex.
But we got a little special appearance by Legato.
Bye, Legato.
There he is.
First of a legend, man.
Oh, he loves him.
I think it's
Speaking of legends, Elliot, continue, man.
Legends.
Legendary.
Legend status.
Oh wow, that was good. Just like when I called Audrus and Alice our distinguished guest. Oh, that was good.
Distinguished Mr. 305. Thank you very much.
That's right. Ginger Mr. 954 right over here. You know.
Very nice.
Next thing. That is so good. That's also so stupid. I don't want to say The Room because it's very generic.
I did not.
The movie?
Hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark. Yeah.
The Tommy Wiseau.
Tommy Wiseau, yeah.
That's a good movie. It's I've seen it way too many times. It's kind of lost. You know when you watch something too much, it's like it's not the same.
I haven't had the heart to watch it, but it looks like an experience.
It is. And like the movie The Disaster Artist, where like it's like the movie behind, they made a movie about what it's like to make that movie.
Oh yeah, wasn't like James Franco in there or something like that?
Yeah, he was there.
Seth Rogen, Zac Efron, Josh Hutcherson from Zathura fame.
Zathura was a cool movie.
I gotta say,
I saw that in school.
Yeah, 2007, man. That was a Zathura year.
No, maybe 2005.
What? Oh, gotcha.
Let me see.
But I remember Zathura being an indirect sequel to Jumanji, actually, the Robin Williams movie.
2005.
Yeah, it's true.
Because it was written by the same because both were picture books.
Yeah.
And both were written by the same author, but they were not really sequels. They kind of were like, I guess it was mostly just the same idea, but like for some reason Jumanji is more popular. But I thought Zathura would be more. It's a pretty good movie. It's pretty, there's some people in there that like Kristen Stewart is in there. John
Legato. I'm sorry, but you made a surprise appearance.
He's back.
Here's Legato.
He's behind me right now. So I'm sure he's trying. Oh, there he goes.
There he is.
I'm trying to figure out what he.
I think a lot of people are pushing back on Zathura because oh my god, it's that twig girl from Twilight. We can't watch this movie. She's bad.
But then there was also the guy Dax Stevens, Kristen Bell's husband, was in it as the astronaut, which was spoilers. Josh Hutcherson in the future.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But, I don't know. It was just funny. I always liked it when he was always like such an ass to his little.
Sorry, Elliot. Is this your pick for your guilty pleasure kind of thing?
No.
Oh,
I
okay.
haven't talked about the movie in a while, but okay.
No, I was just wondering because I was like, oh, that's a good movie though.
I kind of like it. It's a good 7 out of 10 movie.
Yeah, exactly.
But
that's completely fair.
So bad it's good.
If you say Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, I will slap you next time I see you because that series is
the cartoon, the
animated cartoon. Yeah,
I played the Game Boy Color video game, and that was a good time. I rented that from Blockbuster around the time that show was out.
Oh, dude!
Wow.
Yeah, it was a good time.
I can't think of anything at the moment.
You want do you want me to substitute in?
Sure.
There are some I already mentioned it, but like there's one that I do find a ridiculous show, but like I wholeheartedly love a lot. Like it's the Spider-Man animated series one. Like it's not that I feel guilty watching it. It's that there are certain parts of it that are hilarious and cringe.
I know the one you're gonna say.
Yeah, I gotta say it. I have to do it.
Pretty much anytime him and Mary Jane are on the camera together.
Oh my god! Especially the scene where he goes, "Hey Mary Jane, will you marry me?" And then she like jumps off. She
jumps off a building. What kind of crazy bitch does that?
I know that he's like, oh, I just wanted to make sure you really meant it.
That is a red flag on so many levels, man. Peter, no girl is worth jumping over a ledge for.
Thing. Don't date him.
I remember
Exactly.
when that meme started appearing, like when they first, that was a meme for a little while. It's like, oh, this toxic relationships these days.
Yeah.
Especially the Spider-Man trilogy, because that relationship, if you ask me, it's not the most toxic relationship, but it's not like the most heartwarming relationship either. Like,
yeah. And it's not like Peter was completely toxic free. I mean, there was a point in the symbiote arc, you know, where he started getting more and more toxic. The first instance was when he was pushing back against Flash Thompson when Gwen Stacy was there, you know, because, well, admittedly Flash was being a jerk, but he
Flash,
yeah, it was Flash Thompson. Flash is just like, oh, what's up?
You're talking about the first movie?
Movie? I'm talking about the series, dude.
Oh, I do. I was talking about the movie.
You got to get your mind out of that Mary Jane.
No, I was thinking about Flash Thompson, but go ahead.
Where he's just like, oh, little Parker's grown a backbone. And he's like, oh, I've developed much more than a backbone. You know, he grabs his sweater, you know, and then there's the cathedral scene where he's with Shocker, and you know he's hunting him, and basically he's saying like here's the thing, man, I am invincible. You know, he tears off a pillar and throws it at Shocker. You know, he starts running away. He's like, get back here, Shocker. You know, he's like, Shocker, you can't escape me. I'll chase you to the ends of the earth. You know, and those 15 seconds when I was like 16 years old, that was one of the funniest readings of Spider-Man that I've ever heard, man. I know it was supposed to be serious, but I just cracked up laughing. And even at 25 years old, 10 years later, I still have a great time like watching this series and just enjoying it. And like the characters are great. The 3D is dated, admittedly, but
yeah, it is.
It's just spending time with it's spending time with these characters. Like one of the most memorable arcs was with Mary Jane and Morris Bench, the Hydrant Man for those memes.
You're taking a dive.
Taking a dive, you know. And because like, first of all, Spider-Man does one of the funniest quips I've ever seen, where Hydro Man says his name is just like, you don't think you can match the power of Hydro Man, can you? You know, and then Spider-Man is like, Hydrant Man? The dogs must love you, man. And he's like, Hydro Man. This dumbass.
It's fantastic.
But even like in the riot, he says some stuff like, we were talking about like when the Sinister Syndicate took out like the Statue of Liberty. Yeah. And then like Dr. Octopus was like, if you don't hand over the we've taken your precious liberty. And then he's like, we took a bite out of the Big Apple. It's like, oh my god.
Get out. And Dr. Octopus just backs hands him like this, you know, get the fuck back. You know? But yeah, the reason why I mention is because Hydro Man and Mary Jane, like even when I was a kid, it did teach me a good lesson about, you know, forcing yourself on people you love, you know, like you can't force anybody to fall in love with you, you know, that's not the way. Otherwise you end up like Morris Bench, you know, he's a guy who's endlessly obsessed with his ex-girlfriend, you know, and he tries to, with these new powers, he thinks he can be a somebody, but he's still the same insecure guy, you know, and it really did teach me a lot about like the fragile ego of a man who believes that he's lost everything because a girl rejected him, you know, and you know, if he just worked on himself, maybe tried using his powers for good, maybe we wouldn't be having this discussion. But you know, it did teach me a good lesson, you know, and it's one that I continue to this day. So even though sometimes I feel guilty watching it, like Star, I love the show. So that's my pick.
I see nothing to be guilty about with that show. I think it's a great show.
Thanks, Salazar. Thank you for lightening the load from the comment section right now, my man. I can deal with it.
This is Spider-Man the animated series we're talking about.
Yes, the 90s show.
The 90s show. So I used to watch that show growing up when I used to get home from school, and that you know, that was the shit. That was the show to be watching at the time. That Iron Man, the Hulk, X-Men, all those.
4.
And the Joe Perry guitar theme song of that show is immortal, untouchable.
Yeah, very good, very good. It was a great show. Marvel was just killing it at that time with a lot of that animation, and I believe a lot of that animation was being done in Korea, if I'm not mistaken.
Japan?
Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure a lot of that was being done over there. Yeah, a lot of that animation was being outsourced to Korea at the time. Korea is a big powerhouse for animation. Are you guys familiar with the Boondocks?
Yeah.
Yes.
Made in Korea.
Interesting.
Animated in Korea. Rather, yes. Anyway, but yeah, so I believe a lot of that started around that time, maybe just a little bit before that, but so
that's a cool little detail, my man. Thanks, Salazar, man. You
look it up, folks, and please confirm that everybody in the chat and whatever. But I'm pretty sure that's how that went.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I do not want to take up any more of the time. So like Elliot, my man, if you're ready and up and going to present a guilty pleasure of sorts, it doesn't have to be fully guilty pleasure like Star Command. I'm just kidding. But please.
Something came to my head, but it left.
Please don't say Ed, Edd and Eddy. That's a classic right there, my man. I know you're not a Cartoon Network
I don't
nut,
enjoy watching that show, so it's not really a guilty pleasure.
Yep.
But I can't. Something that coming to me. I thought of Jurassic Park 3, but I don't enjoy watching that movie. It's not good. It's awful. It's.
Yeah, we don't have a Jeff Goldblum's amazing abs to save the movie, man.
Yeah, we don't have. Well, he wasn't even in that one.
I know he wasn't. That's why I'm saying
that's the point.
Him and his abs are not in that movie.
I can't think of. I think of a movie. I'm blanking. Even though I came up with the episode idea, I can't think of anything at this moment. Well, Alzo, do you have anything in mind?
Guilty pleasure, American Gladiators. Are you guys familiar with that?
Whoa. Is it a live action show?
Yes. And it's basically it's a lot like this Ninja Warrior type of show, except it's people that are up against these people called gladiators, and they go through these obstacle courses. And the gladiators are basically, they're just like bodybuilders that are just there to kind of knock you off and tackle you in the middle of these obstacles and stuff like that. Very, very, very fascinating show to watch. And it's amazing to see some of these contestants really stand up to these big bodybuilder, the gladiators are an obstacle just as much as the platforms and things that they have to be running around on. So it's a very fascinating show.
Oh, is this more is this like a trial by defeat or something like that, where these big guys have to go up against the underdogs?
Yes, exactly. So it's like exactly people you wouldn't really expect, to be facing against these obstacles, and they have to climb up ropes and go down zip lines and go through all this kind of stuff, and then they have to fight these gladiator dudes with these baton things. Very, very fascinating stuff. American Gladiators, just fantastic show. I would highly recommend it if you haven't had a chance to see that one.
It does sound familiar because back in around 2013, I do remember there being a show where this was exactly the case: the underdogs versus the overclass big buff dudes, and
around 2006, you said?
2013, and even then, I think it was reruns of the show because the show is from the 2000s, right?
The show's from the early 90s or the mid 90s or so. I can't remember exactly, but it was around the 90s. And then they tried to relaunch it around 2005 or 6, and then Hulk Hogan was the host of it during the relaunch, and that didn't last very long.
I know. I think people get tired of hearing the word "brother" on a daily basis.
Yeah, understandable.
American Gladiator. I gotta make sure to check that one out. Go back.
It's a hoot. It's a hoot.
Going back to the wonderful world of 2006. Yeah, and strangely enough, during it the 2000s time, back in middle school. Yeah, middle school. For some strange reason, I used to watch Jersey Shore because it would always come. It would always come after school, you know. So I was just like I had a crush on JWoww and Snooki because those were the only two females in that show. You know, I was just like, oh man, they hot. But I figured out that Snooki was Chilean, so I was like, oh man, that's a cool detail to share between us. I mean, maybe we can get married and shit. You know, that's awesome. But then
Just based on the fact that you're Chilean.
exactly right. So they're like when I saw these guys dancing and going into fights and stuff, like I was just like, wow, this is pretty funny. It's pretty funny. I know this is reality TV, like the most basic garbage, but at the end of the day, like that held a big impression in my little malleable little mind, you know. So I was just like, man, I dig it. I dig it. I really do. And they relaunched it back in the 2010s, but it's not as good as before because, well, it's not the same. You know, it's not the same.
Yeah.
I was older and I was just not impressed by the same stuff I was when I was younger. You know.
That's true.
Yeah.
You know, there was a Spider-Man cartoon on MTV a long time ago. It was this 3D animated Spider-Man.
Yeah, Neil
Patrick Harris.
Spider-Man.
That was him. He did the voice of it.
I think
Yes.
so. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. That
was
the
cool
theme
to show.
song was fire, my man.
The show was pretty cool. I liked it a lot actually, and I liked it. It kind of had like this like cell shaded look to it. It looked pretty cool. And I remember Electro in the show and stuff. It was very cool.
The Electro in that show took inspiration from the ultimate comic books, which that was my first exposure to Spider-Man. So like I'm kind of biased towards that Electro and the Electro from Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions and the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Elliot, I know you hate that movie, but haters gonna hate. You know what I mean?
Ladies and gentlemen, I have my answer.
Oh yeah, all right, fine. Let's go. Let's do it.
It is the first Scooby Doo movie directed by James Gunn.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
I don't think I've seen that one. But I hear it's actually not too bad though.
Elliot, please explain this to Alizar, man. This is gold.
This is one of the most 2000s movies you could ever watch. It was a lot of I want to say it was a lot of our generation's exposure to Scooby Doo, and you know my parents were like, "Oh no, you gotta watch the cartoon," and I'm like, "No, this is the cartoon where this guy is like saying like." I'm not gonna say it because I can't do a good Scooby Doo impression, but basically, it was really look, I watch it now and it's okay, but when you're a kid, it's like fun and stupid. But then for some reason, like a lot of people are horny in that movie for no reason, and it's kind of like weird.
There's always a reason.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
I'm sure there is. Just like Dan Schneider telling people to take their feet off, their socks off to show their feet.
Yeah.
Like, oh no.
Time, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like this weird thing. Like, why is it happening? I'm like, I don't know. James Gunn has said some dumb stuff in the past. Check his old Twitter.
Well, I always thought that the joke in that was that Scooby Doo itself is always kind of like not like an adult show, not at all, but there was a lot of hidden stuff in Scooby Doo, the cartoon itself. So I always thought that was the hint that was going on in that movie.
They made a character named Mary Jane who wanted to go out with Shaggy.
Yeah, well, the joke from the old Scooby Doo cartoon was that Shaggy and Scooby were always, potheads and stuff, and that's why they were always eating so much, and that's why because they always had the munchies, and they were always, So that was maybe they were playing off of that whole joke. So maybe there's a little bit of fourth wall breaking going on there.
Yeah, there was a scene originally where it was supposed early in the movie where they're at the beach. It's just Shaggy and Scooby, and there's smoke coming out of the mystery machine, implied to be weed. But then we go inside and see that they're making eggplant burgers, and Shaggy's just like, "Oh, the only thing I love better than an eggplant burger is a chocolate covered eggplant burger, with hot sauce." But I even now as an adult, I can watch that movie and take a drink every time someone gets sexualized, because there's a lot of sexualization going on in this movie. But I can,
Okay,
but
okay.
at the same
I haven't
time,
seen it.
the what?
Sorry, I was saying I haven't seen it, so I have no idea how bad, like the sexualization must be.
Yeah, like they even say it in general. Like I remember one time when we're splitting up. And there's a scene where the gang is splitting up in the mansion, or this like haunted mansion. That's kind of weird place. And there was a thing where Velma and Fred were talking about something,
Oh no!
and it was this weird thing where I forgot what exactly started talking about it. Where it's like,
Fred always picked Vilma last.
oh, that's right. He goes, you just pick it because I'm not gorgeous. He's like, hey, I'm a man of substance. Dorky chicks like you make me hard all the time. Oh no, make me
Turn me on. Where was your mind at, man? He says dorky chicks like you turn me on too.
It's the same thing though.
Your mind is in the gutter, bro. Seriously.
That's awesome.
But it's the same family. It's in the same context.
It was definitely the same idea. That's completely true.
It's just so weird. It's a weird movie. Like I try to be professional about this, but I can't.
There's no way. There's no way you can be professional reviewing Scooby Doo, man. Seriously.
Or Scrappy Dappy Doo.
Scrappy Doo.
Who doesn't love Scrappy?
Who was Rowan Atkinson the entire time?
Exactly.
Oh, really?
Exactly.
Wow. Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean, he's the god. Like I love his inclusion in this movie, but it's the fact that there's a scene where the characters switch bodies by accident, and there's Velma in this really hot crop top, I'm just like, okay, Velma, I haven't seen you this way before, but like she uses her brains, and you see that Daphne's possessed, right? She pushes her into a room, and Velma's just like, you could use a little sunlight,
Yo.
Yeah. She pushes Daphne out there, right? And then Daphne's Fred's spirit, right? Bear with me, Alice. Our Fred's spirit goes inside Daphne, expulses the monster inside. Velma opens the blinds. The monster explodes by the power of Bacne and Acne at the same time, And then Daphne speaks like, but I'm not Daphne. And then she's like, and he's like, I didn't know where else to go. I panicked. You can't steer when you're a pure spirit. And then he looks at Daphne's body as Fred. He's just like, hey, I can look at myself naked. That was so strange. Like I watched this movie when I was 9 years old. I didn't have a clue what it meant.
They were really on one.
I remember like my parents and I were watching this, and then the light came up. My mom's like, "All right, time for bed." And I didn't know when I was like 3 or 4, so I didn't know what sex was yet. And so like stuff like that was like
a late bloomer. Huh? No, I'm kidding. 3 or 4. Jesus Christ! I can't blame your mom, but that's crazy. That's rough right there.
That was just
yeah. We used to plank before plank was a thing.
As you're drinking water.
Yes.
Yes.
Mama.
I'm trying to think. I think that's it. I can't think of any more stuff though.
Well, that was a good answer though. It was a good choice.
Yeah, Scooby Doo, man. What a guilty pleasure to mention, man. Like I almost forgot about that movie actually. Like thank you.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's okay. I like I like making fun of it once in a while. Like if I were to have a couple drinks and like watching it with like a lot of buddies, like cool. But like I can't sit down by myself and watch it. Like my god. Okay, I have another one.
Okay, go for it.
The Cat in the Hat movie with Mike Myers.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that either.
And that'll be my last entry into this. But that movie, I don't remember much of it, but I just remember just hating that movie. There's just so much weirdness in that movie. Like my first exposure to that movie was when I I think I mentioned last time I was in the clubs, which is where basically like the parents drop you off and you go like hang out, so the parents can go be a couple because they haven't been like that for a while because they've been taking care of my ass for a while, so they deserve to go enjoy themselves and
Zap the love out of them, Elliot. How dare you?
I'm sorry.
You zap the love out, man. How
I know, guys. It's always my fault. Um, but we're like, all right, let's watch these movies or whatever. And actually, I played my first Spider-Man game there, which was Spider-Man 2, Enter Election. Yeah. And then I also watched the old 2003 animated show with Neil Patrick Harris on MTV as well. And I watched Cat in the Hat there. And man, was it bad. Man, I thought it was a great movie. And then like I was also 4, so what else did I know? And also I was at Universal. I was also Universal Studios, and Seuss Landing was there. I was like 3 or 4 years old, and that's when the ride, like Islands of Adventure, came out in 1999, which was the year I was born. Yeah. So as long as that park has been around, I've been around. So it's the kind of thing where the rides are actually better and all this stuff. Like they haven't updated. I would not be surprised if that ride, like Cat in the Hat, has not been updated since that ride opened back in 1999. Like I would not be surprised.
Dated, man.
Yeah, but I was like, okay, let's still watch it because I'm in Universal Studios and I want to watch like Cat in the Hat and all this stuff because I was scared to go to the parks the next day. And I used to get always excited to go to the parks, like it's the whole thing. And
yeah,
I watched the movie and I was like, oh my god, this is. Even though as a kid I would watch anything, I'm like, this is terrible.
There's literally a kid dabbing out, like no, not dabbing, like buoying you at the door, like this. I'm just like, what the hell are you buoying me for? At least I can show my body. If Ken writes that, it's like I like your body, Oh my god.
But I was watching that thought.
The Cat in the Hat, huh?
Yeah, just I can't get into it much, but that movie's just weird. Like, also, there's just another sexual innuendo, like where he goes like when Mike Myers kind of has.
I'm gonna. Who is this? It's the mom. It's the mom of these 2 children. You're right. And yeah, like there's a little photo within photo. It drops down, and then his hat goes. Like okay. Even when I was a kid, I understood what that was.
It's not funny. It's not like the best is like when the best humor is when like people have to think about it. Like SpongeBob was funny. Like you had to think about it. Like it's like don't you have to be stupid somewhere else? Not until 4. Like it doesn't make sense, but it's just still funny. Like it's
It's fantastic. The SpongeBob is very well written, in my opinion.
Yeah. Seasons 1 through 3.
I was just about to say seasons 1 through 3. Yes, exactly.
Really?
Oh yeah. I the stuff afterwards, I was really not into it.
Yeah, after the movie was when it was like, all right.
Yeah, wasn't really my flavor.
There are a few diamonds in the rough that like I managed to stick through it, like especially with seasons 11 and 12. Like there are some gems in there, man. Like SpongeBob now is going through like a renaissance period, where it's just like, oh, they're trying to recapture that lightning in a bottle. They're getting better. Like there's barely any more gross out humor. Now the animation is more dynamic, like characters move around a lot more, and there's less yeah, exactly.
They're planning to cancel it, but then the internet lost it. And they're like, I guess we're gonna keep going making episodes.
They want it to be like the new Simpsons or something.
Yeah. And
have it running forever.
And it's I'm not kidding. That show's been around again. 1999. It's been around since I've been alive, and
your twinsies.
It's always been on the air, and it's weird knowing that if that show goes away, it's like it's as long as I've been alive when you think about it. So it's it's one of those things where it's like they're gonna keep on going and going until like they don't feel like doing anymore. Like Simpsons is like one of those things. It's like I that show's never gonna end until like I don't know, like
Matt Groening or Dan Castellaneta dies or something.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's exactly correct. And it's like Tom Kenny or Clarence Brown.
Clancy Brown.
Clancy Brown,
the voice of Mr. Krabs and Lex Luthor.
That's right. He also was in the Detroit Become Human.
He was. He was.
Are you guys excited for the new Star Wars game being made by that developer?
Yeah.
Which
A bunch
one?
of new, there's a bunch of
Eclipse or whatever it's called.
yeah.
I think it's called Star Wars Eclipse or something like that.
Oh,
Yeah, Eclipse.
cool.
And made by Quantic Dream, and yeah, they made Detroit and Heavy Rain and all those games.
Oh, that's awesome. Heavy Rain is gritty, man. I like Heavy Rain.
I never played them, but I've seen those.
They're really. I recommend you check them out. Like it was, I played it with my friend once, like in 2017, I believe, and it was an experience. It really was.
Awesome.
It was a basic nerd experience.
Hey.
Sorry about that.
I like the one. I like the one.
Was that game Near Smile?
Oh yeah, Near Smile, the one about this guy who cries far cry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no! Yes. That was.
Any last things you guys want to say about like any last entries?
Andres, do you have anything, man?
There is this little show. Like I won't take up too much time, but there's this little one that I'm kind of nervous that I've watched. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's a kick-ass show, and it's damn it, it's
Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
You're not even a Cartoon Network buff. That's not a guilty pleasure. Oh, okay. I gotta preface this right now. Keep the cringe reactions to a minimum, guys, please, because I already give myself enough shit for watching this and liking it. But
Fanboy and Chub Chub.
No.
Mr. Meaty.
Yes.
I got it.
Mr. Meaty. Yeah, it was a live action puppet show from 2007, back in the era of Drake and Josh and Ned's Declassified. You know, this
They used to play it all the time on the Nicktoons network. Like, remember it was like the Nickelodeon network, and then it was like his own Nicktoons network. It was like its own thing where they would just do like reruns of like just only the animation.
Yeah, and like if there's one thing I can give this show, it's the theme song. It's just like all God's creatures, fresh off the grill. So come on down to Mr. Meaty, where friends eat meat. You know, it was short, it was sweet, snappy, to the point. It barely lasted 10 seconds. It was good, but there's no denying that the show's puppets do look genuinely creepy. You know, like the two main characters, Josh and Parker, which I like. Josh from Drake and Josh, and Parker from Drake and Josh. Drake Parker and Josh Nichols. Like I can see the resemblance here, man.
Oh, nice.
But it was all about these two guys who were like teenagers who work at the fast food industry, Mr. Meaty. They sell meat. They sell meat, burgers. Yeah. And they get into all these weird situations. And the show I remember being funny because Parker had a high-pitched voice like, I have a tapeworm. And Josh was the chill dude who would always pick up chicks, who would always be cool, calm, and collected, you know? And there was this episode that was kind of weird because I'm pretty sure it wouldn't fly today, but there was an episode where Parker eats a burger, right? He takes a bite out of it. He literally transforms into a woman. I don't mean that he made the conscious decision to turn into a woman. I'm saying that this burger literally has magic powers that turns him into a woman.
Right.
Like, and it's shown in graphic detail. The face stretches out a little bit. There's this little inflation that happens in the chest. I'm not sure what that is, but and a dress comes in. The hair gets longer, and then Josh is just like, you know what? You can actually help me get girls. Let's go. Yeah, the best friend. You know what I mean? So this is my. He goes up to a bunch of girls like, "This is my new friend, Parkerina," and then he's like,
Parkerina.
Parkerina? Are you stupid? And it actually ends up working. Parker, now Parkerina, like gets into an entourage with these girls. You know, they start promenading. You know, working it. You know, and stuff. And then they go to the girls' bathroom, which I imagine is a safe haven for all the them girls. You know, and then they subvert the expectations a bit. They start talking about getting rid
That's
of
subverts the expectations.
the what?
That subverts the expectations, like then like eating a burger.
No, no. The subversion comes when the girls actually band together and talk about eliminating Josh for being a pig, you know. And Park Arena's just like, oh my god, what is this, man? Why are they gonna get rid of Josh? And then everyone goes into detail. Every single girl goes into detail as to why they want to get rid of him, you know, because Josh has done some bad things, like leaving girls hanging, cheating on them, and then Parker's just like, what is really? Okay, all right, girls, let's go. So they leave the bathroom, right? They go up to Josh, and Park Arena's like, Josh, you are a user, and if you use us, you lose us, you know. And and then out of nowhere, Park Arena turns back into a boy. His voice gets deeper. He's like, whoa, Josh, I'm a dude again, dude. And then they start kicking the crap out of Josh because they still want to get rid of him, right? So the girls force feed him the burger, and Parker's just like, hey, Josh, are you okay? So he gets up, and Josh turns into a woman too. He's just like, call me Jocelyn. And then and then there's the random guy saying, how you doing, pretty lady? And then Jocelyn comes in and says, oh, why are guys such jerks? And that's how the episode ends. No joke. It was a funny concept, you know. It wouldn't fly today, but god damn it, was it funny.
That is hysterical.
That's
It's
What's the name of the
surreal.
show again?
Mr. Meaty.
Okay.
it was very weird and obscure. Like it did not last long.
Yeah, it lasted like 2 seasons and that's it.
Yeah.
But that's my guilt. That's as much guilty pleasure as you're gonna get out of me for tonight, my man.
Alistair, why don't you end this off?
My last guilty pleasure, I'll have to say it's probably Drake and Josh, to be honest, because I didn't really watch it too much.
Guilty pleasure?
Yeah, because at the time, for me, when the show was really popular, I was about 20. And my niece and nephew used to really love it. And I used to watch it with my sister, and then my niece and nephew, who were about 3. They were young. They were like 3 and 4, but they used to just like looking at it because it's very loud and it's fun, and it's just a fun show. And then so we used to have a great time watching it together. So and then they learned a lot of my niece and nephew learned a lot of their English and a lot of their vocabulary and stuff from Drake and Josh, because they had a big and they were, to be quite honest, iCarly kind of weaned them into it, because my niece was a bigger fan of iCarly, and then since they were all related, it was kind of like they were like, oh, it's iCarly who's on Drake and Josh doing that,
Yeah.
Was their first words hobo? Because that's a word that they use a lot in that show for no reason.
She did. Yeah, she used to say it all the time.
I hope that the first word wasn't boob.
I have no idea. Who knows? But they just really, really love that show. So yeah, Drake and Josh was something I used to watch with them, and I grew to really enjoy it. It was very funny. It was very well written. I'm a really big fan of Josh. He's just very, very funny, and he's to this day he's just a character. And I forgot who it was. Was it him that didn't invite Drake to his wedding or something like that? And there was like a whole fallout from that. Well, looking back at everything that happened, I guess we see.
I can see why.
They kind of cleared it up. Apparently, Drake Bell went on an interview, or Jared went on an interview.
Jared Bell.
And, I don't know. That's funny, but
Jared.
And Drake was like $5 footlongs, everybody.
That's. I just got that. Sorry. Oh my god.
Okay.
Oh, that was good. That was
Sorry. Sorry.
wow, that was great.
Wow, I did not expect that.
That was the best moment of the night.
Wow, that landed more than I expected that to. That's awesome. That's really
That was
fantastic.
good timing.
Thanks, guys.
But yeah, but like when Drake was where's he going with this? Yeah, like with the wedding, like he apparently was on a podcast episode explaining like, oh, it's not as what you think, da da da, and we talked about it a little bit, but then like the press, he blamed the press that it kind of went out of context. They didn't really follow up on it. Like, did he go to the wedding? And I think he went to the wedding actually, but it was just the kind of thing where like, oh, like it was the kind of thing where like the media didn't follow up on it, and I don't think the media was interested in following up on it because it was, the media had other things to report on. I don't know. Like,
Tabloid
actual news, yeah.
And it's very tabloid. It's like it's not like the New York Times is not going to win a Pulitzer Prize for like, oh, look at this like investigative report. Like no, it's going to be like a People magazine or like like Tiger Beat or stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, Drake and Josh is always great. And as you know, like as you said in the past, like Drake Bell made me want to become a musician with the It's Only Time album. And yeah, man, just those songs were great. And it was so funny. Like there was other stuff like Josh is like, I need help with my homework, and Drake is like, well, I want a burrito. Give me $20. Like it made no sense, but it was just funny and stupid. Like
it's very nicely written. It's very funny. Like the jokes land. The jokes land. I think the way that they deliver them is great.
Yeah, like I remember season 2, like when Josh was it was like when he was he was like he had this power by the pool gods when he was like playing when he called billiards, and Drake looked like he was on one knee. He's like, Josh, I'm about to ask you a very important question, and then he kneels, and then he has like this big cue thing, and then Josh is like, and then and he's like, will you play pool with me? And then like obviously Drake is like, no, and then they find out that he just wants to use Josh just to like he wants to like gamble, hustle people into it more. And then like I don't know, I love this line. It's so stupid when Drake goes, okay, well if you're not gonna play this game anymore, what am I supposed to do with this? And then Josh is like, give it to a hobo. Like
his delivery is just too good, man. I just love the way he does that yelling delivery.
Yeah. Like the 4th season was obviously like he wasn't like as big as a nerd, but he still kept it going.
Yeah, he did. Like I was proud of Josh actually. Like this was the moment where the dynamic kind of evolved into Josh still being that nerd, but also like growing up a bit. Like we got to see a more mature, more level-headed Josh. And even when this one where they get arrested by the police for going into the lizard room where you have to be 21, and then they try to go in as Jefferson Steel Flex and Alvin Yakitori. And Josh has some amazing moments in this episode where even when they're stuck in the cop car, and then the police officer's holding a grapefruit that he got from his dad's dress, pretending to be a boob and stuff, and he's like, man, this is a little sour, man. And then there's a crime going on, and Drake and Josh are in the back seat, and he has to go and check it out. He's like, I gotta go, hold my grapefruit. And he's like, I'm handcuffed, what do you expect me to he shoves the grapefruit in Josh's mouth.
And then later the cop the criminal comes in, and then they're like, oh, what's this? And then he
that's a grapefruit.
There he goes, it's a little sour. Good thing I always carry extra sugar back.
Oh my god, the show is so ridiculous. It's so good. It's so good.
It always manages to top itself. Like even in that same episode, they break into Drake and Josh's house, using the Jefferson Steelflex and Alvin Yakitori identities, right? And when their dad comes in, they end up beating on him. Like he's like, yeah, let's go, old guy. We don't know. They lock him up in the closet, right? and they have a plan to kidnap the governor, you know, and
Kidnap the
Drake's like,
governor.
we gotta get those goons out of our house. And he's like, I don't want to kidnap the governor. And then the dad is like, kidnap the governor, you know, like obviously outraged and stuff. So
Do you guys remember? Sorry, do you guys remember Drake and Josh as the Tony Pajamas skit in the Amanda Show?
Yes.
God, I used to really love that. I just wanted to bring that up for a second because it just reminded me of that for a second.
One of my favorite bits was the shrimp thing where they pick it up as like Josh goes, "Oh hey shrimp," and then Josh's like, "I want it." No, I enjoy shellfish. Give me the shrimp.
I enjoy shellfish.
I will give you $10. $10 for the shrimp.
It's so good.
Well, and then like back to that episode, there was the one where they're trying to chase the criminals out, and so they use Josh like magic items for his magic not conch shell, magic briefcase. and they're like, hey man, let's just figure this out. And he's like, listen, I'm the one gonna be doing the questions, you're the one gonna be in the corner. And Josh is like, oh, who's I forget the line.
Maybe I'm sick of you calling the shots, huh?
And then, like basically he's like beating the shit out of him, and then like there's like they're trying to like make him like, oh, he's like beating him up bad, and they're like, oh my god, and then he's like, and then he takes a banana and just beat him up, and the one guy's like, don't beat my boy with a banana. Like,
that's so funny, man.
and then like later they're like, oh my god, he tore him his arm, and they hit his finger. Oh, I'll be out of here.
Psycho.
Oh my god! And then later, like, yeah, he's out of here. And then this the woman that comes that they're making the dress for is like, my date never came.
They closed the door.
We just got like convicts out. We're not really worried about that. And then later they have dinner with all the family, and then we got that the father was still in the closet. Like, you know, that's like one of the best episodes. Is that one?
It's so good. It's so good.
That's a good one, bud.
I love that. Well, I hate to be a party pooper, but I actually do got to get out of here pretty soon, folks. I thought I would just join you guys for tonight, but I thought I would talk about our fun little topic, and I do gotta head out right now. But
yeah, man. No, I agree with you, man. This was. Thank you guys for exposing yourselves to me in a very intimate way. I hope we can do this again real soon. If you want even more intimate, we can.
Well said.
Take me out to dinner first, but you know that's how it be sometimes.
He has a. Keep going.
No, go for it. I was done.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say he has a. I forgot the word though. Oh well, but
that Chilean fire.
Sure.
Very.
He has the standards. That's right. Take him out to Denny's first.
That's right.
Hey,
I'm gonna take you all to a romantic date to freaking Chick-fil-A. You want to
Chick-fil-A, that great service at a great price.
Waffle fries.
Hey, I'm gonna make some waffle fries later. Yeah.
Ketchup packets. Oh.
Okay, but this is all right. Well, thanks guys for watching this. Just be sure to like and subscribe, and make sure to like and subscribe to Shut Up, Let's Talk as well. So as always, it's a fun episode, and thanks guys for joining us, and be tuned. And then next week sometime we'll be doing an episode.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me on, guys. Peace.
Thanks for coming in, my man. Peace out, you guys, worldwide. You know what it is.
Later, folks.